When I hear the word liquid, I picture the motion of the ocean. I imagine running water flowing around any obstacle, free to go anywhere it chooses. But when I think about staking in crypto, it's quite the opposite. I picture being tied down, restricted, locked up. So what is liquid staking? It sounds like an oxymoron, right? How can staked crypto also be liquid? In this episode of Price Discovery, I will break it down. What is liquid staking? What are liquid staking derivatives? Is this just another crypto term that has a cool buzz, or is crypto staking the next new evolution? Let's find out right now. In a proof-of-stake blockchain, validators are chosen based on the amount of crypto or the stake that they hold. Essentially, the more tokens you have, the more power you have in the network. This system incentivizes validators to act honestly, as they risk losing their stake if they act maliciously. This is known as slashing. You're rewarded for staking by annual percentage yield, or APY. In the process leading up to the transition to ETH 2.0, validators were able to stake their ETH on the Ethereum beacon chain, which is the coordination mechanism of ETH 2.0. That was responsible for creating blocks and making sure the new blocks were valid, and rewarding validators with ETH for keeping the network secure. However, to become a validator, you needed to have staked 32 Ethereum, which is a lot for most people, a high price, forcing small holders to use centralized platforms if they wish to stake, not to mention inconvenience and risk that was associated with having your crypto locked up long term. So what if you wanted to self-stake a small amount of Ethereum, but you didn't trust centralized lending platforms, and you did not want your tokens locked up for extended periods of time? Well, people knew there was a need for this, and along came liquid staking. What is liquid staking? With liquid staking, staked tokens can be used as collateral in the form of liquid staking derivatives to access liquidity in other parts of the blockchain ecosystem, such as decentralized exchanges, DAOs, or lending platforms. You can think of liquid staking as a usability and a liquidity layer between the user and the validator. You see, various liquid staking platforms split the staked Ethereum between validators, which they have vetted using their own individual criteria, and in return issue you the derivative token, which can be thought of like a receipt, but with utility. The derivative tokens also gain in value over time to simulate the APY you would have gained from the normal staking of the ETH. The different liquidity staking platforms each have their own unique systems for doing so. Liquid staking offers several benefits to users and the overall blockchain ecosystem. It can increase the liquidity of the staked tokens, making them more accessible and tradable. It can also potentially reduce the occurrences of slashing penalties for validators, as they can use their staked tokens as collateral to cover any penalties they may incur, which is nice. Let's look at two well-known liquid staking platforms on Ethereum, Lido DAO and Rocket Pool, and see how they compare. I spoke about both these tokens about 3 months ago now when preparing my viewers for the coming ETH staking DeFi revolution. I will keep this brief since fully exploring these platforms would need an entire video for each of them. Let's break down how it works. Let's start with Lido DAO. When you're staking using Lido DAO, the liquid staking derivative token, or LSD, you receive what's called STETH. This is a rebasing token, which means it increases in value over time based on time. It currently offers an average yield of around 4.5% APY, according to DeFi Llama. The LSD for Rocket Pool is called RETH and is not rebasing, but goes up in value over time based on the amount of Ethereum staking rewards accumulated by the protocol. Staking using Rocket Pool currently offers an average APY of about 4.29%. The native token for Lido DAO is called LDO and has a fixed supply and is used for voting power in the Lido DAO governance, but has no utility beyond that. Rocket Pool likewise has a token called RPL, also with fixed supply, and is used for voting power in the Rocket Pool governance DAOs, and also required for operating mini pools, which are a type of validator node system. The APY offered from each of these products varies based on factors such as time staked, however, yield is only part of the attraction. The main event is what you can do with the LSD token itself. The LSD tokens can be used on DeFi platforms to trade, lend, and get even more APY as collateral for borrowing, just like any other crypto asset. Plus, in true DeFi degen mode, LSD can also be used to borrow more Ethereum to then liquid stake and gain even more of the LSD, and the cycle continues. However, liquid staking platforms do put limits on this activity to avoid liquidity issues. So, this all sounds too good to be true, right? What are the drawbacks and the risks involved? The primary con behind liquid staking is that it offers a comparable APY rate lower than running a validator node. The yield is lower because of the fact that you can unstake at any time and get your base crypto asset back. Another possible consequence of liquid staking is that it increases the rate of slashing due to some of these protocols having less stringent controls over who is allowed to operate validator nodes. Slashing, what is it? It's a mechanism that prevents blockchain validators from practicing malicious behavior. For example, the Ethereum network can slash someone's staked ETH if their validator node is allowed to have downtime. Slashing can take place even if the malicious behavior was not intentional. Investors with large amounts of capital might refrain from liquid staking if they fear the chance of having their locked collateral slashed could be increased. They don't want to have that. So with that being said, there's another potential down risk. And that's, even though most liquid staking platforms are decentralized and run by DAO governance systems, you're still running a third-party protocol with its own code and its own smart contracts. So there's elevated risk compared to self-staking directly. So what is next for liquid staking and what does the future hold? That's a great question. Liquid staking on Ethereum certainly brings this product to the masses, which is important as Ethereum has the largest market cap of all Layer 1 blockchains along with the highest TVL in staking. However, Ethereum is not all of DeFi. It's far from it, and many other blockchains have similar products on offer, such as various Layer 2s, along with Cardano, Avalanche, Phantom, and more. Some of these were even designed with liquid staking protocols in mind from the very beginning. Likewise, the top liquid staking protocols already have cross-chain compatibility, and like many aspects of crypto, cross-chain interoperability is the future. Looking forward, we can expect to see protocols competing and trying to outdo each other based on yield, convenience, utility, security, and use cases we haven't even imagined yet. As always, healthy competition will drive innovation. This is the bear market, but liquid staking is gaining momentum and pushed in part by the exodus away from centralized finance companies such as Celsius and BlockFi, who we cannot trust anymore. LSDs will be the fuel which pumps the next DeFi summer and has the potential to bring in the next wave of both retail and institutional investment into crypto. As we begin to move into the next bull run, I expect liquid staking to be one of the hot new narratives on everybody's lips and the source of many top cryptos. I look forward to producing future content, breaking down the best liquid staking products that will change the scope of our crypto future and keep us ahead of the curve. I'll see you on the next video.